She like, slap it, daddy. So you slapping her tattoo. Slapping. Take me to be with a bitch that won't get a cover up. Dead homies, y'all want to blame me? She the problem. That bitch ain't covering shit up, then I'm gone. Dead homies. I ain't staying. I don't want to look at a nigga. I don't want to look at another nigga. She needs to go get him some proper therapy and be a mom. That's what's really wrong, bro. And nobody wanna say that, or her friends, everybody wanna hide it. No, she need to go get him some proper therapy and be a mom. That's what's wrong. Nothing really wrong with him. It could get right, but she need to get right, or somebody need, like, I feel bad for helping her. Go get the baby from her sister. I should have left him with the sister. He was better off there. Dead homies. Oh, it's not. He don't eat nothing but milk. That's all she trying to give him, cause that she was y'all. The bitch is slow. It's a real though. The one thing I did like that bitch, she aggressive. Like, you feel me? Make a nigga like, nigga gotta choke her out. But look, this the funniest shit, right? What really threw me off after a while, at first it was funny. Like, when I'm fucking, she like, slap my tattoo. So I'm there slapping blood.
Respond to it. So that's why I responded to it today, because I seen it on no jumper, all type of stuff. Academics, repo, all that stuff. I'm like, dang, it's crazy. Never in his life he got posted on blog pages like this. No traction, none of this. Nothing, bro. Nothing. Huh? That's why I didn't really respect. I don't want nothing. I'm good. That's why I didn't really respect.
If you thought the drama between Krishan Rock, Blueface, and rapper Lil Bino had already hit rock bottom, buckle up, because things just spiraled into a whole new level of messy. The internet is spinning after Bino unleashed yet another round of allegations, interviews, and shady comments aimed straight at Krishan, reviving every rumor, every receipt, and every uncomfortable moment from their short-lived situationship. And the wildest part? He didn't stop at IG posts or the usual subliminals. He's now dragging their private bedroom business into the spotlight. Fans are calling it petty, embarrassing, and downright obsessive, but also impossible to look away from. Look, you like slap it, daddy. Yeah, that's the line that had the entire internet stopping mid-scroll and blinking twice. Because what started as a random clip has now exploded into a full-blown spiral of drama nobody saw coming. Within hours, Bino was back online dropping even more stories, digging into private moments, and sending the fanbase in a meltdown mode. Suddenly, everyone had a theory. Some saying he's finally telling his side, others calling it straight-up messy behavior, and a whole crowd wondering why this man still has so much to say months later. And the wildest part? Every new allegation, every interview snippet, every shady post makes the timeline even harder to look away from. So now the real question is this genuine outrage or a calculated attempt to embarrass Krishan and keep the spotlight burning? Because if this is how the drama starts, you're not ready for where it goes next. To understand why things are blowing up all over again, we got to rewind a bit, back to the chaotic, short-lived situationship between Krishan and Bino that nobody expected and everybody had an opinion on. Their whole link-up was messy from the jump, filled with live stream moments, sudden declarations, mysterious hints, and that constant, aren't they? Confusion that had fans refreshing their feeds like it was a full-time job. Then came the breakup, abrupt, dramatic, and instantly public. One minute they were posting each other. The next minute they were firing off indirects and unfollows. And just when the dust barely settled, everything reignited the moment Krishan reunited with Blueface. That single move flipped the switch for Bino, because almost overnight he went from quiet to extremely vocal. Suddenly he had things to say, stories to share, and a whole lot of frustration he clearly felt wasn't dealt with the first time around. Fans swear the turning point, the moment everyone remembers, is that infamous video where Krishan was shown sucking on Bino's foot like it was Halloween candy. It was bizarre, unexpected, and instantly turned into a meme storm. Even though it lasted only seconds, that clip became the internet's go-to reference anytime the two were mentioned in the same sentence. It's the kind of footage that doesn't just go viral. It becomes a permanent timestamp in pop culture chaos. But behind the jokes and the memes, the tension only grew. Every time Krishan appeared back in Blueface orbit, Bino seemed to pop up with a new comment, a new post, or a new, let me set the record straight moment. Whether he was hurt, annoyed, trying to clear the air, or just done with being quiet, nobody could agree. But one thing was obvious. The breakup wasn't actually the end. If anything, it was the fuse. And that's exactly how we ended up here with the latest round of shade, interviews, and explosive allegations that have everybody asking, is this just heartbreak talking or something way deeper? The first wave of drama hit like a slap out of nowhere. Out of the blue, Bino jumped online and started firing off a series of claims about finances, living arrangements, and how things supposedly went down behind the scenes while he and Krishan were dealing with each other. These weren't subtle hints or cryptic lyrics. These were full-blown allegations he delivered as casually as someone reading out their grocery list. He talked about who was supporting who was staying where, who was carrying the load, and he even dipped in a commentary about co-parenting concerns, something the internet immediately latched onto. And again, these were claims, accusations, his side of the story, nothing confirmed. But in the world of messy celebrity internet drama, that doesn't matter. Once the statements were out in the open, they took on a life of their own. Comment sections exploded. Some people insisted he was finally speaking up about things he kept quiet for too long. Others felt the opposite, like he was poking at sensitive topics that didn't belong online in the first place. Screenshots were circulating, clips were getting stitched, and everyone had a theory. But the biggest twist? Just when everyone thought he was done, he wasn't even close. Not even a day later, Bino doubled down with a whole series of Instagram posts that sent the timeline straight into chaos. These weren't calm explanations. These were blunt, shaded up, press send without rereading energy. He talked about how much he allegedly did for her, how much he felt she didn't appreciate, and the difference he claimed he made in her life. It was raw, unfiltered, and absolutely designed for people to see. The way he worded it made people instantly choose sides. Some fans said he sounded like a guy who felt used and was finally snapping after being quiet for too long. Others said the complete opposite, that he sounded bitter, vindictive, and way too invested considering the situationship had been over for months. And of course, the loudest crowd of all called it classic clout chasing. Why say all this now? Why online? Why like this? Every IG story only fueled the fire. Each post gave people more to argue about, more to dissect, more to drag into comment wars. And just as the discourse was hitting peak chaos, Bino rolled out the biggest bomb yet. That's when the interview clip dropped, the one that practically split the internet in half. Instead of clearing the air or calming anything down, Bino dove straight into talking about private moments, specifically what he claimed went on between them in the bedroom. He described dynamics, preferences, and situations that most people would never imagine being spoken about on camera. He didn't get graphic, but the details were personal enough that the shock factor alone was nuclear. It wasn't just what he said, it was that he said it at all. Fans were stunned. Even people who don't follow either of them were suddenly watching the clip like, wait, he really said this publicly? Because here's the thing, breakups get messy. Accusations get messy. IG rants get messy. But exposing intimate moments, that crosses into a territory most celebrities avoid, even in their pettiest phases. It's rare, it's uncomfortable, and it made the whole situation feel way more intense than it already was. By the time the clip hit the blogs, people weren't just asking who was right or wrong anymore. They were asking what would drive anyone to reveal something that personal on camera. Was it hurt? Was it anger? Was it attention? Or was it just the final swing in an already overblown feud? Either way, the bombshell interview marked the moment everyone realized this wasn't just drama. This was war-level messy. When the interview clips started making the rounds, and everyone was waiting to see whether Krishan would clap back at the bedroom allegation, she surprised the entire internet by not touching that topic at all. No denial, no correction, no shading, nothing. Instead, she jumped online and dropped a completely different bomb. She claimed the whole relationship with Bino was just PR. The moment she said it, the internet basically stopped breathing for a second. Because instead of shutting down the very personal claim he made, she pivoted into revealing that their entire situationship, the posts, the appearances, the moments people spent months dissecting, wasn't genuine romance at all, at least according to her. She insisted it was more about image, publicity, and timing than actual connection, leaving viewers staring at their phones like, wait, what? And that's when things got messy, not clearer. Because if it was PR, why did it look so real? Why did it seem so emotional? Why did both of them act so invested online? Why were their live streams matching energy and moments that didn't feel staged at all? And if it was PR, then why was Bino revealing such personal, intimate details that no PR team on Earth would approve? Her explanation didn't silence the conversation, it detonated it. Fans immediately split into camps. Some supporters said the PR claim made perfect sense, especially considering the timing and the publicity both received. Others argued it felt like a deflection, a way to downplay the embarrassment of the interview clip without having to confront the content. On top of that, people couldn't help pointing out the obvious. If it really was a PR setup, then Bino was still around her child, still present in her home, still involved in moments most viewers assumed were personal. So calling everything PR raised even louder questions about what was real, what wasn't, and how much of the story the public had never been told. Instead of putting the situation to bed, Krishan's response made the whole timeline feel like a hall of mirrors, confusing, contradictory, and impossible to fully trust. And more importantly, it left the internet wondering if the feud was ever about emotions at all, or if everyone had been watching a storyline spiral out of control in real time. If there's one thing the internet will never do, it's stay quiet during a meltdown of this magnitude. The moment Bino's interview clip hit the timeline, the comment sections lit up like a 4th of July spark show. People weren't just reacting. They were choosing sides, writing essays, stitching videos, and arguing like their Wi-Fi bills depended on it. And honestly, the comments alone could have been their own reality show. One of the loudest reactions came from a user who wrote, "He's weird as hell. Why are you bragging about sleeping with someone who literally has another man's face tattooed on her? That's nothing to flex." That comment spread like wildfire because it captured the exact cringe a lot of viewers felt. To them, Bino wasn't exposing anything. He was exposing himself, and not in a good way. Team He's Lame for exposing her had officially clocked in. But just as that opinion was climbing the charts, another viewer shot back with a completely different take. "I don't even rock with Krishan like that, but he's even lamer for talking about bedroom stuff. A tender, soft man behavior if I've ever seen it." This group wasn't defending Krishan out of loyalty. They just couldn't respect someone airing intimate details online. For them, it wasn't about who was right or wrong. It was about what should have stayed off camera entirely. This team didn't just think he went too far. They thought he sprinted past the finish line and kept running. But then came the third lane. "Team, this was obvious from start." One commenter summed it up perfectly. "None of this surprises me. The whole thing felt chaotic from day one. This is just a fallout." These viewers weren't shocked, offended, or confused. To them, the drama was inevitable. The situationship was turbulent from the beginning. The reunion with Blueface was a trigger waiting to go off, and this entire mess was simply the natural next episode in a show that never stops filming. And that's the beauty of the internet. 3 completely different interpretations of the same event, all equally passionate, all equally loud. On one side, people dragging Bino for oversharing. On the other, people calling the entire relationship messy from day one. And floating right in the middle, a whole crowd sipping their tea, saying, "We saw this coming a mile away." What makes this drama so addictive isn't just what happened. It's the way every viewer sees it through their own lens. And with opinions this divided, this feud isn't just between Bino and Krishan anymore. The fanbase has officially joined the battlefield. So now that every clip, every allegation, every IG post, and every live stream reaction has been picked apart by the entire internet, we're left with one unavoidable truth. This drama isn't as simple as he said, she said. It's a tangled mix of emotions, regrets, attention, timing, and 2 people who cannot stop circling back into each other's orbit, whether intentionally or by pure chaos. And with each new piece of the puzzle, the conversation gets even more complicated. Is Bino exposing the truth as he experienced it? Or is this just a long-running attempt to stay relevant at Krishan's expense? Is he venting hurt feelings, trying to tell his side, or stirring things up because he knows the internet will devour every word? And on the flip side, is Krishan's PR relationship reveal genuine clarity or a distraction from the parts she'd rather not address? Everyone watching has a different take, and honestly, that's what makes this saga impossible to look away from. There's no clean ending, no clear villain, no obvious motive, just a never-ending avalanche of receipts, reactions, and revelations that keep the blogs fed like it's their last meal. But now I want to hear your thoughts. Where do you stand? Was this a justified tell-all, a messy overshare, or a strategic play disguised as heartbreak? Drop your take in the comments below, because you already know the debate is going to be wild. And listen, if you think this situation was messy, chaotic, and way too dramatic for a Tuesday afternoon, wait until you see what's been happening in the other storyline bubbling up right now. Trust me, you don't want to miss it.